Schwick heads and Hellcats. It's Shari Schwick coming back at you from Behind the Wheel podcast of Schwick Wheels. Today, I'm very excited. We have a special guest today, Bobby Berniers.
Thank you.
Did I get it right?
Yes,
and his
yes.
wife, Vanessa. So happy to see you both coming from what we call you as Bobby Brownstone.
Yeah,
Yes,
everybody
yes.
calls him Bobby Brownstone.
That's how I'm known.
From the Brownstone Pancake Factory. Thank you guys for coming in.
Thank you for
Thanks
having
for having
us.
us.
So excited to start our conversation. We've gotten to know each other just a little bit
Yeah.
just now and just ready to see where this ride takes us right
Yes.
now.
No pun
Yes.
intended.
Yeah.
So
So
it's a
Bobby,
beautiful ride up here, by the way.
oh, thank you for saying so.
Yeah, really beautiful.
The Taconic is
Yeah.
special.
Yeah, and this whole block.
Oh,
Nice.
thank
Yeah.
you, Vanessa. So, Bobby, tell me a little bit about the Brownstone Pancake Factory. I know your dad founded it. Is that
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's a very complex story
Okay.
if you want to hear it, but
The condensed version, honey.
What's that? I'm going to give you
condensed
sort of a
version.
condensed version. So, my parents, came here from Greece and, they started as like dishwashers and, and it was in the restaurant industry and that's how they learned. And my grandfather, my mother's father is who kind of opened the first restaurant in Jersey City. That's where it initially
Okay.
started. And it wasn't always called Brownstone. It kind of went through a few iterations. But I was a corporate attorney in the city.
Yes, I saw that you left law.
I left the law and opened the Brownstone.
Incredible.
And that was back in 2004.
Okay.
And I left the practice of law. In my blood is hospitality. And I just, as great of a job that I had in the city, I just wasn't really happy.
Sure.
So I went back into the industry. And it was sort of my baby. The store was doing phenomenal, but I wanted to grow.
Yeah.
And, it was a family business. So I was there with my dad and all these stuff. And it just got a little complicated because I had all these ideas, a lot of the ideas that when people think of Brownstone, they think of the crazy shakes and some of the stuff that we do.
Sure.
And my dad thought I was crazy. And
But it's the old school mentality.
it was
Yeah.
more of like an old school diner. So I went on my own in 2013 and sort of modified what is Brownstone Pancake Factory
Sure.
in Edgewater. And, it's going to be 10 years since I opened the Edgewater store.
10 years and 15 pancakes?
Yes.
Incredible.
And, we're up to 4 locations.
Yes.
We have a food truck that hopefully is going to be ready in like the end of June, where we'll
Summer.
start,
That's
know,
really
now.
exciting.
for events. We'll go to festivals and things
Sign me
like
up.
that. Yeah. So it's been a crazy fun road,
Yeah.
going from 1 to 4. As you know, I don't have any partners. It's just really me. I have some great help.
Sure.
My sister's my CFO.
And that's Maria?
Maria.
Yes.
And what the crazy thing is, Maria
She's
too.
everything. She's everything. She's CFO. She's marketing.
She
she's
does. Yeah. And she's
hire,
also a trained
human
attorney.
resources.
Yeah, she does a lot.
And she's a trained attorney.
She's a trained attorney. She worked at Deloitte as a tax lawyer.
Oh my goodness.
And I convinced her to leave to help me. Because once I got past, once I opened up the second store, when I was at one, I was doing everything. I was doing the accounting. I was doing HR. I was running the restaurant.
It's overwhelming.
Payroll. Everything.
And I just
incredible.
needed help. And she's grown with me, and she's been a great part of it. And it's been great. Now we're now at that crossroad where we're trying to figure out what the proper, path is for the next trajectory of where we're going to go.
Sure.
Because we want to expand outside of New Jersey. Do we do franchising? Do we raise capital privately, through a fund or a venture capital group and open? So we're in that process right now, trying to figure out what it is. Because the one thing is, I am a control freak.
To be an entrepreneur, you kind of...
and so it's scary, the idea of growing too much.
Of
right?
course.
Because I feel like I'm going to lose control.
And the responsibility of hiring others.
Yes.
It's always what makes me want to almost suffocate.
Shari, to me, that's the challenging part.
Yeah.
Right? I think human resources and finding the right people that kind of buy into your vision and kind of do what you do and have that sort of view of your business, it's hard.
It's
hard. it's hard finding those people, and they do exist. I'm fortunate enough to have a bunch of them working for me, because that's why I've been able to grow.
Well, I've been blessed by your hospitality in person, and so I can say they're definitely on brand.
Yeah, Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And so, that's kind of where we're at,
Yeah.
And I have this amazing woman next to me that helps design my stores.
They're beautiful.
And I got to tell you, the most recent ones, which you haven't seen yet, I don't think.
No.
Have you been to Brick or Freehold?
No, just been to Edgewater.
So Englewood.
Excuse me.
And
You got to go to the Freehold location.
our Freehold store has like a working carousel inside the restaurant for kids.
So while you're eating.
Yeah. Yeah. Our Brick store.
And I think she's made a good influence on you otherwise, because if you haven't seen Bobby's pancakes yet, the tears and the waffles and the creativity, you are not afraid of color anymore.
No,
sir.
no.
They
And
are.
the design has to be over the top.
Of course. They're
Yeah.
gorgeous.
And
It works hand in hand.
And it's great. So our shore, the one that we have in Ocean County in Jersey in Brick, we have like a Volkswagen bus that you can,
I had no
you can
idea.
actually sit in and
you can
eat.
sit in.
So they're very, as we've been growing,
Yeah.
we've been able to get more creative,
Yeah.
More whimsical.
Yeah.
get more women. Yeah. So, my original store, Edgewater, and they all have their own personalities,
Yeah.
right? Each restaurant,
Mm-hmm.
but they're connected though in sort of design, with the mint green and what have you.
It's like having your favorite cousins. We're the same family, but we all got
there's a different flavor.
Yeah.
And listen, I look at the restaurants like my kid, like almost like my kids, like, they all have different personalities, and, I enjoy it, going store to store.
So talk to me a little bit about, I know from myself that somewhat similarly, first, Schwick Wheels and our construction business that we came from, it's me and my husband running this business. It's family oriented, but more so than that, what I find familiar is I did a little bit more of the traditional route myself, going through college, making sure I got my master's and, doing that whole being in healthcare allied fields for 15 years, and then I realized I really had the fire from my great grandfather, which was, immigrated from Italy, bought a piece of land that had a building on it, and he started a bar.
That's awesome.
And then he just kept, in that, like you said, one location, didn't leave, but had the family, had the kids, and then, taking care of family and about really running that business. And it wasn't until recently where I went, I'm most at home when I feel like I'm building this myself.
Absolutely.
So can you speak to me a little bit about, not so much the nitty gritty, but just how do you find success? Because families are complicated, and I don't mean for you to go there, but like, where do you find the success of, whether it's your own internal control or just trying to find that balance of loving each other, still running this business, growing what Dad had, where do you find yourself in your head with that?
First and foremost, I feel grateful that I'm in a position where I have these businesses, right? And it's funny, my father today came to visit me at my restaurant, and he actually retired and opened up a restaurant because he got bored.
Wow.
So he has another restaurant.
He won't let you have all the fun by yourself.
So he opened up a place about 15, 20 minutes away. So he came over today to kind of talk about Mother's Day, because yesterday was Mother's Day, and it was one of the busiest days in the restaurant industry. So we were just kind of going over like some war stories and how it went, and things like that. So the crazy thing is with my dad is, growing up, we didn't really have a great relationship. My dad was very hard and tough. And now that I kind of went on my own and became successful on my own, we have a much better relationship, which is great.
Yeah.
And the thing about life to me is, I don't really look at anything that comes at you in a bad way, because there's always another side to it, right? So I always thank my dad, is that if he wasn't as tough with me growing up, I wouldn't be half the man I am today.
Yeah.
And that's what I also feel about adversity in general in life. Part of the reason why I think I'm successful is I embrace adversity. I embrace challenges. And those are the things that if you have the ability to like fight through that and enjoy that, being successful is easy.
Yeah.
Right. The challenge is, and you just mentioned it before, building. To me, it's not even about money. I just love creating and doing things and building things, you know, and I spoke, you know, to my wife many times, like the one thing that I might transition into is actually construction and real estate. You know, so we own a bunch of real estate now, but like really getting into maybe the development space because it's creative, it's building, it's challenging, and that's
There's nothing like it.
Yeah, so it's something that we both definitely want to do. You know,
well, that's a
forward.
Perfect segue for Vanessa, because Vanessa, you have quite the resume.
Yes, a little bit.
Can you tell people a little bit who you are and?
Yes. So I'm an interior designer, somewhat of a lifestyle expert, and I also do a lot of TV gigs. So I've been on HGTV, NBC. I'm a frequent contributor to Open House and George to the Rescue on NBC.
Yes, it's on my DVR every Sunday.
I was just on this Saturday.
My God. I haven't gone through my DVR yet.
So
I'm excited.
It's a great episode. It's actually about my sister.
Yeah, his
it's
sister.
Great.
Yeah,
it's great.
It's a beautiful episode. So I've been doing design for 25 years on my own, and just like Bobby, came from really tough upbringing. My dad was a furniture maker, and I worked for him. And his father came from Cuba, so they came, you know, with the struggle and the adversity, and they tried to build a conglomerate. And you know, through the path of you know, his journey into taking over his dad's business, it failed. It came back. So here I was trying to make something for myself, and my dad was a tough individual like Bobby's dad, and it made me who I am today. And that Bobby and I share that parallel together because his dad is just as tough as my dad, probably a little worse, I would say. I would say my dad and I had a falling out, but you know, I do contribute who I am today to my dad, and I love and respect him for what he made me become. But at the same time, those adversities made me strong and made my dad who he is. And obviously I respect my dad for making me who I am. But just like Bobby, it's very similar upbringing.
Journeys are, I think, what people sometimes get surprised about, like who starts maybe as an entrepreneur and who's like, I don't know about this, or just any journey in life. I think sometimes people are just so surprised as to how much grit and how much self-awareness. And I think gratitude is like a really great word. You know, even if I'm literally hitting a wall that won't come down, or I'm having this really difficult relationship, it's still seeing the gratitude in that.
Yes.
And having the perception enough to be like, I'm going through this because it is a part of my journey, not despite my journey. This is not necessarily a weird turn I'm not supposed to be making. I need to accept this as.
But when you're going through that journey, you don't think so, right? But yeah, it's hard. It's hard. But seeing my past and where I am, I really do give a lot of thanks to the journey, because I appreciate everything we have today. And I'm very frugal. I always think I'm going to lose it. So I always think I'm going to lose.
Yes.
And I'm always like very cognizant of my spending. And only because I have that, my girlfriends are like, you're fine. You do really well for yourself. And I'm like, no, you can lose this all, because I've been there. And I always tell Bobby, that's why I'm like, don't buy one more car, because you never know. I
don't listen.
I have a strange bias to this.
Yeah, I don't listen to that advice. But, you know, I'm a firm believer that you also manifest your future.
Yeah.
Right?
Agreed.
And if you sort of have that mindset and you live that mindset, you can pretty much have anything you want in your life. You know,
I believe that too.
So, you know, so I try not to think of the negative.
And not that I think of the negative, but being there, you always think of, you could end up there. So you always have that in the back of your mind.
I think what you're both speaking to is also why I feel like
connected.
Just I go to car shows all the time, but I was like, this guy's different. You know what I mean? Where there's, there's the success part, but then there's the integrity piece.
Right.
1,000%.
You know, the humility of Yes,
We're just talking
knowing
about that on the way
where
here.
it comes from, where it could go,
Yeah.
protecting that, the responsibility of staff, and just kind of like that is beyond rare, fortunately or unfortunately, where it's, I am building this and I also have a responsibility to this because I know where I came from. I know where I want it to go. And I'm just, going forward.
It's funny. Vanessa and I, we have a group of friends that might know of some of the stuff that we might have, right?
Sure.
But I will never discuss any of that, cars,
Yeah.
watches, this, that,
We don't disclose it.
unless I know someone.
Amen.
And I've been in so many scenarios where I cringe, where I meet people that I don't even know.
Yeah.
And they start going through like all this stuff about money and this. And I don't hang out with those people. I can't.
You can't.
It's not my personality. And again, going back to gratitude, like I'm grateful that I have what I have.
Yeah.
But I don't do it for anybody else, but for me.
Yeah.
Right. And for my family. Like,
Yeah.
I don't need to show off that I drive a fancy car. Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I almost would rather with some of these fast cars, I'd rather have like a tunnel from my house that gets me to the highway where nobody even knows I freaking have that car. So
But speaking
The
of cars,
Batman.
not to cut you off, I know he's like literally jumping on the bit because I can see like movement, vertically moving in my left corner. It's Uncle Billy Schwick.
Oh, thanks for coming.
of course, man. How are you?
Is this your lovely wife?
This is
Hi, how are
Vanessa.
you?
Vanessa is
Very
my
nice
husband,
to meet you. I
Bill,
heard so much about you.
Here.
also known as Uncle Billy.
You been good, Bill?
Everything's good. How you guys doing?
Good. It's been a while.
Yeah. What's going on with the cars, man? The weather, huh?
Soon. We're working on it soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, that's a good segue because we met Bobby at a car show
That's right.
because of Donnie. We all love Donnie.
We do
Oh
love
my
Donnie.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, so why don't you talk a little bit about meeting Bobby and getting to the car show, and then we'll talk
So
to
Donnie
Bobby.
calls me up one day. He goes, "Gotta meet Bobby." I'm like, then he brought up your diner. And he goes, "You got this guy, forget about it. He's got like 100 flavors." Yeah, for Donnie talks, right?
He's great.
And he goes, "Yeah, you got to come out here and meet Bobby." I said, "He owns 5 diners and he wants to talk to you." And he goes, "Yeah, that's my buddy for 25 years." So he goes, "You come out here, it'd be like getting smacked by a burger." He goes, I said, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "Just come." So I go to the diner that night and you were out and about and Bobby said you were coming soon. So I sat down and I had the most delicious cheeseburger I ever had in my entire life. It's the way the basket came out with the fries and the soda. Everything was decorative.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is different and unique. And he goes, wait for the
And
chocolate
then you
sun.
order a milkshake, and you're like,
I ordered a
"Wow."
milkshake and it had like 50 flavors in it. Oh my God. It was a beautiful experience.
Thank you.
And it was a pleasure meeting you.
You too.
It really was, man.
It's funny, those little details, like the way we serve our burgers. We have like this newspaper, and it's like a brownstone newspaper, like
Yes.
very
Yes.
unique.
Yes, it
a
is.
lot of attention to detail. And I tell people what I strive to do is not just to be in the food industry, to be in the experience industry.
Yes.
So when you focus on like the customer's experience, that makes a difference because you can get food anywhere,
Yeah.
right? Like I'm not the only place you can get a good burger or a shake. But when you create that sort of experience through design,
Yes.
through maybe music, decor, presentation, and then even the culture of the people that work there.
Yes.
That's what kind of brings, we do crazy over the top like celebrations when people have parties. And it's fun. It's fun. And that's what I think drives a lot of people to come
I
to
think
us.
so.
I like how he uses the word drives.
No pun intended. Or pun intended.
So what sparked the idea to have the car show?
So, as you guys know, I love cars.
Yes.
Right. And I can get into how I love cars.
Yeah, sure.
But Cars and Coffee, who runs that car show, approached me and said, "Hey, we would love to do a car show at your place." And I go, "Sign me up." And that's kind of how it started. And I think we started about a couple years ago. And we usually do it like once a month, invitation only. It's usually around.
It's super nice.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then we take some of the tables outside.
Yes.
And,
It is.
and listen, for me to do that event, I kind of eliminate my parking.
You do.
So
Yes, you do.
I kind of lose, not that I lose business, but like no one can really come into the restaurant.
That's correct.
But what I tell, the guys that run it, it's like,
Yes.
I don't even care because I just love cars. I go, screw it. I won't make any money tonight.
Buy some food too.
I just get to hang out with people that have the same passion that I do.
Yeah.
Get to meet, people like you.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
And no, listen, it's reality. It's,
Yeah.
I didn't even realize it. People like, I don't golf, right? It's not my thing. People say you got to golf for networking. Like, for me.
We don't golf either, FYI.
For me, like, and I didn't, this just sort of happened.
Sorry, Austin.
But just being a car enthusiast, that's a great network.
Yeah.
Because, people, you just talk to people about cars and different, it's just amazing.
How many times I've met realtors, designers, attorneys, just entrepreneurs of a kindred spirit. That's where I feel like that's where I have fellowship.
Yeah.
Is at these shows.
I agree with something you said a few minutes ago. You said, even though you remember everything where you came from and how you and your wife built all this, that you don't like me being around people who talk about money. Because they're not who you are. They're different than who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it makes you cringe. It makes you feel funny.
Yeah.
It makes you feel awkward.
Yeah.
We went to a Lamborghini event a couple weeks ago, and when I go into there, I told the guy, I got a problem. I said, my Lamborghini can't get service. What? So this guy, Danielle, is the head of Lamborghini Florida. He tells another guy below him, we're going to take care of this tomorrow. I'm like, yeah, whatever. And we go home, we go to sleep. I get a phone call from Lamborghini. You all right, Bill? I'm like, who's this? This is Lamborghini Florida, man. You got a problem with your car? You got to bring it in tomorrow. Danielle said, take care of you. So, we just go there and hang out with these people, but they're so respectful and well-mannered. And look at the culture that come from
When you
Lamborghini.
find that like-minded person who's
Because it's me too. I got that personality, so I go in there and I play fixed security guard to Lamborghini, president of Lamborghini. So I wear the tight T-shirt with the buttons, and I'm like, all right, security guards here. So we make fun all night. Then you make friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And these are beautiful people, man.
Yeah.
They wanted to put us in the Four Seasons. I said, Four Seasons? I don't want to go to Four Seasons.
Why don't you guys talk
I want to go to a regular hotel.
Why don't you guys tell Billy about your beautiful home and how it's designed?
Oh, well, it's
That's the one you're building
Talk
right
about
now.
it. Yeah.
Okay.
You can talk
Don't
about
interrupt,
Edgewater
babe.
too.
So I think she wants to talk about Edgewater first. So we
Okay.
live in a townhouse, like a 4-story townhouse. And in the first level is like the gym, and it's a little hallway into the back part of the townhome. So what I did, so I'm an interior designer. I don't know if you were here to listen to that, but I'm an interior designer. And what I did was make a full glass wall, like almost like a picture frame with molding around it.
Wow.
And you see right into the garage. And that's where we have the Ferraris parked. But it's my favorite street in Soho. So when you're driving into the garage, it looks like you're driving into the street in Soho.
You're kidding me.
Yeah, it's pretty
So
cool.
yeah, so it's like it's all wallpapered,
God,
but
I
it's
can't wait to
custom
see
made
that.
for the scale. I'll show a picture
Oh
when we're
my
done.
God. Can I have that?
And then so Bobby was mentioning that we're building a house. So the whole idea of this house is it to be Bobby's car museum and my car museum too, but mostly his.
Yeah.
And how the topography for the house works, we actually able to have the kind of carport go down into this slope, and the basement of the house is kind of in and out. So the whole downstairs is a car museum, but you can kind of see it from the backyard too,
Wow.
which is really cool. Yeah.
Wow.
It's gonna be great. It's funny talking about Donnie. Donnie's like, when are you moving out here? Because Donnie lives close,
He lives close,
to
yeah.
the house.
Yeah.
He's like, come on, champ, you gotta move. You gotta move up here. So it's funny. I love Edgewater where
love
we
it
live
too.
now. We have beautiful views of the city from our rooftop, and it's great. But with our son, I want him to have like land. I want him to be able to play in the backyard.
Okay,
I also
okay.
want to have some privacy.
Okay.
Because the one issue, going back to what we were talking about, when I pull like a nice car out of my driveway in Edgewater, like I feel like everyone's watching because it's tight.
Because everyone is watching.
Everybody is watching.
And so that's why,
Especially with the new exhaust.
And stop.
Oh, you got the exhaust?
I put a Capristo on the F8.
Yeah, you need a private house, baby.
It's
You need
loud.
your own driveway.
Yeah, it's loud. And
That's hilarious.
It's
Don't tell Ferrari.
so you know,
I know,
you know
and that's what I said. I'm like, how are you going to aftermarket an F8 that already sounds amazing?
all right, can I talk a little
I'm
car?
sorry.
I'm going to talk a little car here because I don't think she understands. This is the one thing that we differ on.
Oh boy.
If there was no emissions
Yeah.
and all these regulations on these cars, they would be louder straight from factory.
That's right.
But
Agreed.
Lamborghini, Ferrari, all these companies are limited because of the US emission rules.
Yes.
So all I'm doing is really making the car sound like how Ferrari and Lambo would have wanted the cars to sound.
Okay.
Because so I don't consider it aftermarket. It's like I'm working with Ferrari to get the car to sound and have the
love that.
airflow that it should have
Can
had
you-
in the
can
beginning.
The
you
way it's supposed to sound.
Right.
Can you tell that he was an attorney, a former attorney?
You know,
I-
it's
Are you a former attorney?
Yeah, yeah.
Former-
Are you serious?
yeah, corporate
So,
lawyer too. Yeah.
Oh, you definitely in the wrong business.
Yeah. So so to me, and certain cars don't need the exhaust, right? Like, listen, I know a lot of Lambo guys, with those big engines, they
Yeah,
sound
man.
amazing stock, but they go a little crazy,
Yeah.
right?
The
And it's-
spitting
shooting
fire.
fire.
Yeah, that's a little extreme.
It's over the top.
Agreed.
You
And it
know.
looks ugly.
Yeah. I think with in my case with certain supercars where there's a turbo involved, there's certain things it takes away from the exhaust. So that's why I put. So my F8 is a V8 turbo. So it was lacking in noise, and I just wanted to hear it. I want to be able to drive it
I'm
and
not
hear
mad
the
at you.
gears.
I
So
love your car, dude. I love your car.
it's
And
You got good
that's
taste.
a lot
Thank
for
you.
us to say.
Because
Because, infamously, we're going to be friends. But,
All right.
we're wearing our...
Lambo.
No.
So
Teasing.
so
Just
going
teasing.
back to Lambo,
Yeah.
this is the crazy thing. As a kid, the car that I saw that turned me into like a car crazy was a Lamborghini Countach.
Countach.
Is that not my favorite car of all
And-
time?
You're never gonna get it.
And that car,
It's my most favorite
oh
Lamborghini.
yeah.
It's the last
It's-
one designed by Mr. Lamborghini.
Yeah, it is
Oh.
to me by
Okay.
far that iconic car that little kids just fell in love with.
Yes.
And that was sort of the beginning for me for cars. And it's funny, and I'm sorry to say this, but I have sort of become a Ferrari guy,
Okay.
Respect.
and
Respect.
and it's there now. That being said,
Right.
that doesn't mean I wouldn't want to own a Lamborghini. I would, but my preference
Coming.
is sort of Ferrari and
think that's
Porsche.
great.
I'm
Porsche's
also
beautiful.
Porsche's another car that I really like. Again, by the way, I can talk about cars for ages. So
That's why
if
I'm
you,
here.
if-
That's
if-
why you're here.
If you want me to stop, I'll stop.
No.
Keep going.
The Porsche brand to me
Mhm.
is one of the only brands, and Ferrari hasn't done it, and Lamborghini hasn't done it, that have really stayed true
That's right.
to their roots.
Their model,
And
And
their,
they're beautiful.
their
that,
engine.
that they from the beginning of time to now they still look almost the same. I mean, yes, you can
Modifications.
tell that they've
Sure.
grown and they evolved, but it's the same car.
but their track cred,
Ah,
their
it's
everything.
911 Turbo.
Yeah.
How they hold their value.
Yeah.
GT3 RS. Is that one of your favorites?
So I have a GT3 RS on order,
Good for you.
and I'm super excited for that
Me
car.
too.
And that is now my wife thinks it's obnoxious with the wing, and
No, I
it's
love it.
but it's to me it's a
Feels
beauty.
showy with the sport. With
So
the,
I also have a paint to sample Targa GTS, which is a
Oh my
gorgeous car.
goodness.
one of my favorites.
Targa.
What
That's a
year is
beautiful car.
that? What year is that?
2018.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's a PDS slate gray. And actually, the GT3 RS I'm doing in that same slate gray.
Okay.
Because they're both going to be keepers for me in the collection.
Good for
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
And listen, the other thing about cars, and this is what I tell Vanessa too, is that
Holds its
it's
value.
only a matter of time
Mhm.
where we're going to go hybrid.
For sure.
We're going to go electric.
It's heading there now.
And this GT3 RS is probably going to be the last generation gas car. My F8 Tributo, the reason why I bought it, it's a tribute to the V8s because now the replacement is an inline 6 hybrid. So I'm buying what I tell Vanessa history, because my little
museum.
There's a
museum coming.
These are cars that we don't realize right now
Are going to be extinct.
they're going to be extinct, and it's sad. It's
yeah.
Listen, even the new Lambo, the Aventador replacement Throttle, that's
the Revolto.
That's a hybrid also. I
Correct.
believe.
It's a hybrid. We're getting that in June.
You know, and I even think the Huracan, the new one they just announced today
In August.
in August, that's also a hybrid. And
Are you going to Pebble Beach?
I was there last summer. This summer, Vanessa and I are
We're gonna go
traveling.
next summer.
Okay.
Okay.
We're
We'll
traveling to
coordinate.
Greece and
Yeah.
Italy for 2 weddings.
Okay.
So I might not make it
beautiful.
to Cali this August.
They're going to announce the Huracan.
There.
Hybrid.
But we plan
It's gonna
to
be
go
wider and
next
bigger.
year, so
Yeah.
we'll coordinate.
I saw a picture of it on Instagram today.
Yeah, it's
but,
fake though.
But it went from a V10 to a V8, which I don't like.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the hybrid part I don't mind. Is you know, it's just it's the nature of whatever. Like, you know, I have a tailor-made 296 GTS that I ordered as well. That is a hybrid inline 6 car. But I got to tell you, I drove it, and some electric in these cars makes a huge difference. Like the sheer torque, the power.
Just the go.
It is amazing.
No kidding.
It is amazing. So, are any of your cars right now hybrid?
No, they're coming in.
Only the
coming.
Revolto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Urus.
Yeah.
The recess.
It's, by the way, the Roto is sick.
Thank
That's
you.
Such
It's
a
going to be
sick.
at your diner.
It's
Yeah.
my first spec by myself.
Good.
Wow.
It's exciting.
It is very
we're
I'm
hoping
very
to get it
nervous.
Mid-June.
Good. That'd be great.
And it'll come right to your diner.
Good. Awesome. Awesome.
That'll be the first ride.
What color did you guys get?
Oh,
Show them a picture.
I'll have to show it later.
Okay,
but
we'll
it's
show it
I
to you
forget the name. It's going to be the first car that we've done in matte.
And
Nice.
it's green,
Oh, wow.
like an army green.
So it's like that army
dude,
verde.
that
Wow.
is sick.
Actually, there
With
was
a
That is
little
sick.
orange. I hope you'll be proud of me, Vanessa. And I did a little orange
didn't you send me
contrast.
something like that on
I sent you
Instagram?
there was something on
was a dark
Instagram with
green.
what
Yes.
was like almost like an army green
Yes.
mat
Yeah.
with the orange.
Yes, I
That's
did that.
sick.
I did
That's
that.
right.
That's sick.
I did that.
That's sick.
And
Before
there
it was
only
cool,
4
I
of them
did
were
that.
built.
Yeah. That's a great look.
And now there's a 4.5-year waiting list for that car.
Is that right?
So Lamborghini told us, I'm going to say this
Get
out
in the
loud.
mic, baby. You got to talk.
Lamborghini said to us, because that wasn't our original color, so they said, listen, take the car, you're VIP with us, take it home. You don't like it, give it back to us. You can choose another color. We're like, what? President Lamborghini signed off on it. Says, if you don't like the color, drive it around for a month, we'll take it right back. I could sell it in 5 minutes. So we found out why. The 4.5-year
Your
waiting
waiting
list all the way to
list.
2029, almost 5 years. Wow. Just for that car. And people are already in 50, 100 grand, whatever. So we think it's gonna, we think the car, we love the color.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
love
good
this
for you.
car.
Thank
Great.
you.
Cool.
We
I
think
can't
it's
wait
gonna
for
I
you
look-
to
literally,
see it.
he just sent me something 2 days ago.
Did
Yeah.
you ever see the inside of it?
I sat in it. I was
Okay.
at the auto show at a private event that Manhattan Motor Car did.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they had, I think it was a yellow one there, and I sat inside it. Yeah, it's like a spaceship.
yes.
Spaceship. It's crazy.
I love Viviana
crazy.
from Manhattan Motor Car.
And they're not going to come out with a Spider until like 4 years. They want to keep the coupe going for a while.
Which I think is smart.
Yes.
I think they should space it out. You know, I feel like Porsche does that really well. They start off with the basic 911, and then
Yes.
they kind of like
Build.
And
they
build.
build and go that way. Ferrari kind of does that too.
Yeah.
But that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not a convertible guy. I don't know about you guys.
No, we have
We have McLaren Spider.
we have a
that's it.
McLaren
Yeah,
Spider.
that's
We have a
Corvette Z8. That's it.
yeah, a C8 baby. You keep saying
C8,
Z8.
yeah. But we don't really drive it that much.
Removable-
because
removable
Every time we
hardtop.
drive it, people are like, you drive a Lamborghini, don't you?
Stop.
Yeah.
Because they're watching. Every time
They're
I-
watching.
they're watching.
Yeah,
What are you doing driving a
I
Corvette?
love the Corvette, by the way. I love driving the
Some
Corvette.
old guy drives next to me in a Corvette. I'm like, I'm not driving this car.
Stop
I'm not
that.
driving
That's
this.
rude.
No, there's like 1,000 Corvettes on
Yeah.
one highway down
Yeah,
there.
there is. Yeah.
So it's here in Jersey.
Positive vibes, baby. Positive
It's
vibes.
positive.
Yeah.
So, listen, my thing is this. You got one chance at this life, okay? And your success is built on your family background, where you came from, and everything in your imagination. And that's what I love about your diners.
Imagination is amazing.
And your imagination is outstanding, dude. I mean,
Thank you.
listen, and I don't blame you for where you are right now. If you never want to open a diner again, you never have to. You know why?
Oh,
Because your success is only going to stay where it is, and it's never going to go away. I'm telling you, it's not. Because whenever we go
That's
there,
what Vanessa and I were talking about.
we got a
like,
great
being afraid it's
experience. Listen, who would want to be a partner with you? You probably got 1,000 people calling, but you know what? If you're happy where you are, then that's where you used to stay.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
You're happy with your cars. You're happy with your choices. It's your choice. It's your life. It's your journey.
Yeah.
And you know what? I don't care what people think about me. You don't like my bald head. You don't like me. Whatever.
Yeah.
I'm going to go home. I'm going to sleep like a baby tonight.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm going to go to your car show, and I'm going to bring the Revolto. You're probably going to be the first car show I go to. And guess what? I respect you and I admire you, brother. And I'm not. It's not because you're in my house. It's because I do.
That's
Yeah.
nice.
Thank you. I
You
appreciate
know what I'm saying?
that.
And your staff members have the utmost respect for
I
you.
must say,
Aw.
like we were
Beautiful.
teasing that, like the car shows, you know, he loses his parking lot, but like
Everybody
quite honestly,
buys your food.
But with the whole thing, like we were saying, like you have, I know I'm not just speaking for us, but like you have customers for life
They're dedicated to you,
Thank
bro.
you.
based
Yeah.
on like
And everybody eats at
everything
the
put
car
together.
show, so they probably
Yeah.
make up for the other
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
And
It's no, listen, it's the show is great. Getting back to the staff, you know, it's funny
Yeah.
for me. I also the culture as a leader is to make them feel like, you know, we work with you. You guys don't work for me. We work together, right? We're
Yeah.
a team.
Yeah.
And that sort of mindset. And that's why I do probably work more than I should, right? Because I want to get dirty with my guys. You know, like yesterday, Mother's Day, I was in the kitchen I got there at 5 a.m. I didn't leave until 5 p.m,
What?
line out the door all day
Yeah.
long.
wow.
That's just, you know, who I am. And I
And
was
that's
up.
why the staff respects him, because he gets in there.
Yeah, I'm there. If you know, I'm open every day. You know, Christmas, Thanksgiving, holidays. If my staff's working, I'm working.
Yeah.
So, and I'm lucky enough to have a wife that understands that. You know, because I grew up in this business, so working on the holidays wasn't a big deal. But for some people, it's like abnormal. Like, what do you mean you're working on Christmas?
Oh, we get that all the time.
You know.
But I mean, also not to cut you off, but like what just dawned on me was how beautiful that people want to be with you and your team on Mother's Day. When they think about where can I take mom,
Yeah.
where we're going to have a good time, where we're going to be happy, and the food's going to be good. We're going to go to Bobby Brownstone's.
Yeah.
You know,
And,
like that's a really special, beautiful thing.
That's
That
a
people
cool name.
want
I ain't gonna lie.
people want to bring you their mom.
You did come up with a good thing with it. I'm not gonna lie to you. Not Bell's Diner,
Yeah.
Bobby's Diner.
No, it's beautiful.
You know, yesterday was definitely crazy.
Sure.
And listen, going back to like hospitality, that for me, it's stressful because I have all these people coming, huge wait. People get anxious because they're waiting long. It's high stress, you know, with the staff. It makes me anxious because I want to make sure everyone's happy because it's Mother's Day.
It's Mother's Day.
And
Yeah,
you
he's
know,
passionate about it.
the one thing that I stress to people in the industry, not just the people that work with me, but in the industry. Think about when you make a choice to go to a restaurant, what goes through your head. There's a process. Either you want a certain type of food, what are you in the mood for, whatever the case may be. That sort of mental, you know, journey happens with every single person that walks into Brownstone. So the fact that whatever that thought was that they chose me is a privilege.
Yeah.
And if you look at every single person that walks into your restaurant as a privilege that they chose you over a million other options, right? That's how you have to treat them.
Yes.
And if you have that mindset and that sort of hospitality, you can never go wrong in this industry. To me, it's a tough business. Restaurants are really hard.
And I think it's a life lesson too, to be hospitable as you're walking the earth.
Absolutely.
You know? Like
Absolutely.
to really engage, because I mean, it's a little cliche, but you just don't know what the next conversation is. You don't know what that burden is that person is.
You know,
And you have 4 places, right?
Four, yeah.
Wow.
And I got to tell you, and Vanessa and I have been having this conversation. You know, a part of me loves the challenge of growing it even more. Like, how far can I take this? Right. There is another part of me though that, and I don't mean this in a cliche way, but like if everything stopped today, and this is where I ended up in life, I would be very happy. Right. Like, because I didn't have this growing up. You know, I dreamt of the cars that we drive, and now I have them in my, like, it's great. You know, I have a beautiful family.
Right.
There's so many elements that I'm like, I'm good. I'm good. But, you know, it's in your DNA to challenge yourself for more and to keep growing, right? That's what keeps you going. So, but I'm going to tell you a story because you reminded me of something you said before, if you don't mind.
No, sure.
One of my subcontractors was at my restaurant the other day, and he just moved to this new neighborhood. And he's a hardworking guy. He's in the HVAC business. And he's like, you know, I moved into this new town, and it's like all, you know, white picket fences, and everybody, all my neighbors are, you know, they go jogging with their kids and all this stuff. And all I do is I work like a maniac, 80 hours a week. I can't even do that. And like complaining. And I go, let me tell you something. I'm going to give you some advice, right? He's younger than me. I go, if you want to take away your own personal happiness and pleasure, you must never compare yourself to anyone. Mm-hmm. I go, you must look internally, be grateful for what you have, who you are, because that business that requires you to work, whatever the case may be, 80 hours a week to live in that neighborhood, it's a blessing that you have it because you might not even be able to be there, right? Don't worry about what everyone else does. Mm-hmm. And that's something that I have to be honest is one of the reasons why I think, and this applies to Vanessa and I, that we are very happy people. Yeah. Is that like, I don't give a fuck. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
I don't give a fuck about what other people are doing. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that is there's always going to be someone that has more money than me, more restaurants, is better, whatever the case may be. You can't worry about that. You just got to worry about yourself, your family, and what you could do to be the best version of yourself. Because there's so many levels in life, and it doesn't matter.
It was beautiful what you said too, and I know they're like, oh, we're starting to need to. But when you said like even the spiritual connection of like running your business, and I think this goes to like what you're saying about this guy is instead of worrying about this dynamic so much as I should be concerned about, it's really this.
Yeah.
You know, and who am I? And we've all gone through tough things, but, you know, not having the victim mentality, though.
Yeah.
You know, and still being present and being ready to be hospitable to accept the next thing that's either coming our way or the person that's coming our way. And then realizing, like, this is the work. This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm building.
To work 80 hours.
Yeah. And
it's his choice.
You know, but the thing is, to me, ultimately, if you embrace what you have and you're grateful for everything that you have, right? And it can go down. I'm a huge Tony Robbins guy. I don't know if you guys are.
Oh, right? I love Tony Robbins.
That man has changed my life. I mean that, you know, from the first show that I went to.
Same here.
And, you know, gratitude starts from very basic level. The fact that we woke up this morning, the fact that we breathe, that we have a heart that pumps, you know, it's so basic. If you start manifesting all the things we're grateful for, it's hard to be pissed off. Right.
100%.
It's, you know, and the thing I'll tell you about Tony Robbins, and this is the thing that has really, I feel, pivoted and changed my entire life, is he says this thing that things happen to you in life for you. They don't happen to you. And it kind of goes back to what we were saying earlier, right? That if you look at everything that happens to you, it happens for a reason, be it a lesson, whatever the case may be. If you look at it in that positive light, you'll never go wrong, right? Any challenge that comes your way, like, oh, some good's coming out of this, right? Yes. Like a storm, right? Storms don't last forever. Right. It's you're gonna plow through it. So that you know, when I opened my first store in Edgewater, we had limited parking, and it was valet. So that's a restaurant that I actually valet. People come and valet, yeah. So I was a little nervous about it because I'm like, oh, people are going to really want to like valet. It's for free, but they're going to want to valet to come to a pancake place. But Vanessa and I believed in it. We're like, fuck it, we're going to do it. And so we open, and there's
insane.
There's like fucking cars down River Road.
That's awesome.
Causing traffic, but then the cops are coming.
The cops were coming.
And they were shutting down the road. They were telling me to shut down my parking lot. And then there was a moment where I'm like, oh my God, did I fuck this up, right? Like, did I pick the wrong location? And do you know that all of that attention with the cops put us on the map?
It created a hype. It's like the
because
club that
now
you
it
can't
was
get
like the
into.
nightclub.
Now I am gonna go.
It's a
I'm gonna
nightclub
go and I'm
that
gonna get in.
that you couldn't get into.
Yeah.
Screw these
So
guys.
And
go-
it became
yeah.
a thing.
And
Who
it
can get in?
goes
Yeah.
it goes back to what I'm saying. Like that situation, I could have looked at it as a negative.
Sure.
Like, why is this happening to me?
Right.
No,
It was happening
man,
for him.
it was happening for me.
Yeah.
That's right.
And that's why I was, and that. So,
Being refined by fire.
yeah,
know?
yeah.
Getting that sword refined by
Yeah.
fire.
It's it's been a blessing.
That's awesome. So before we take you guys full throttle,
Okay.
we gotta know what's coming up for Brownstone Pancake Factory.
So we have a custom food truck that is being built as we speak.
Wow.
That is,
And
it
he's
is-
adding an exhaust.
It's no. That's good. Well, there is. That's a good one, babe. There is an exhaust fan because there's going to be, but it's an amazing company in South Jersey. They're family owned, custom made. Like there's not one like bolt in it, right? Because in
It's all
food trucks,
welded.
it's all welded custom because of the moving and shaking and stuff. So it's super high end. That's coming mid to late June. We're gonna put that on a tour, hitting festivals.
Oh my God.
But we'll do parties too.
So
bar
it's gonna be a good
mitzvahs,
marketing
parties,
thing.
weddings.
Yeah.
And then we'll also do it for like, at venues, like
Yeah.
after weddings, bar mitzvahs, whatever,
Yeah.
private parties.
So you start with one and see how it goes.
And
then-
and then, I told the guy, based on what happens, like in the next like 3-4 months, I might
Yeah.
keep on ordering them. This might be
yeah.
a nice little side hustle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And listen, my brain goes in a million different directions, but then I was thinking, why not have a fleet of trucks
And you sell the
that
concept.
do different genres?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Taco truck, Greek truck, because
Right, right,
I'm
right.
into
Right.
food. There's
That's
so
right.
many
Right.
things you could do. So we'll sort of see where that takes.
Okay.
But getting back to just Brownstone brick and mortar, there's definitely room for growth, right? We're working on a lot of different things. We're working on our own batter that we could actually put in a container that
Oh,
we
wow.
sell at stores. So there's a
Wow.
lot of things we're working on. And then also opening other locations, right?
Sure.
I would love to go out of state. I would love to, we've talked about it, Bill, but
Florida.
A little bit.
going to
Yeah.
Florida.
North
Florida,
Carolina,
yeah.
Tennessee.
Florida is
Yeah.
a big one,
We
man.
talked
They
about
need
Florida.
Florida.
So I love Florida, and I would love to spend more time in Florida, but I need an excuse to get there. So what I tell V is, if I have a couple of restaurants there, then I got to be there.
Then I gotta go. Gotta
So
be there.
now it's just pure pleasure. So
And now I gotta get a plane.
Yeah.
The Brownstone food.
Do you know Cape Coral got washed away with the hurricane? They rebuilt everything.
Wow.
Gee, look at that house.
Oh my God!
That's incredible.
What is that?
Wow.
So I'm getting
first floor.
the hands.
Oh, okay.
So all right, here we go, baby. Are you guys ready to go full throttle? This
Yes.
is like
Ready
an
for-
either or
Yes.
situation.
Oh,
Vanessa
wow.
and Bobby are on the spot. Here we go. Okay.
Sorry.
And no pressure. I mean, there's
No.
paddles or standard stick shift.
Standard stick shift. Easy.
Bobby?
Paddle.
All right.
I knew he was going to pick paddle.
Paint or wrap?
Paint.
Nice.
Oh.
2-door or 4-door?
2-door.
Suda. Wow, you're
Okay.
good.
2 for 1.
Yeah.
I think I know this one. American muscle or European?
European.
Okay, didn't
European
even have to finish
exotic.
that one.
I do listen. I have a love for American muscle, but
Of course.
but European is special. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you go Ram TRX or Ford Raptor?
Ford Raptor.
Ford Raptor.
Really?
Sorry, I did see
That's
I know,
that.
we
okay.
saw the
There's two
Ram
that are
outside.
I
outside.
did see the two guys
No
outside.
kidding.
I was
Yeah,
actually.
Ford.
Why? Can I ask why?
I don't know. There's something. I've always loved those.
All my
Ford,
contractors have them, so I feel
No,
like
I love those Ford.
Everybody has
the
one.
Ford dualies. I don't know. I've always was attracted to the Fords for some
okay.
reason.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's that wrong
the
with
Rams are
Fords?
cool. The
Yeah.
Rams are cool outside.
All right. Well, thank
We
you.
just like horsepower.
Yeah.
I think we talked about this one. Convertible or coupe?
Coupe.
Convertible.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, she's a girl.
M series or a Hellcat SRT engine?
Wow. I might go Hellcat here.
Yes.
Hellcat,
Finally got one, baby. Got one.
Yeah.
Okay.
810 horsepower.
Yeah.
Turbo or supercharger?
Turbo.
Yeah.
Turbo.
Mm.
All right. Go.
Remember, you have to drive home together
Yeah,
still.
yeah.
So
I
like,
like
we don't
this.
want to break in marriage. That's
No,
going
we're
well.
good.
Okay.
Nah, I ain't breaking that.
And for you guys specifically, our last full throttle question is maple syrup or agave?
maple syrup.
all the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's an easy
never
one.
agave.
Great. That
So
was
thank
good.
you guys for coming in. I believe you picked.
Oh, man.
You get to go behind the wheel of whatever we have in the fleet today. Is
Wow.
it the STO today?
I think it is.
Oh,
He's driving it.
So we got the keys for the Lamborghini STO. We're gonna hand them off to Bobby.
Very
so
you wanna
excited.
go-
Ride, man.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
whatever you guys want. Thank you so much
So
for
cool.
coming.
Thank you.
We'll
Yeah.
do this again.
Yeah, this is great. This is sweet.
Awesome.
Super great.
It was great talking to you guys.
Yeah.
Oh,
Really, it
thanks
was
for
nice.
coming in
That was nice.
sincerely. It always
Okay.
feels short, baby.